Assalamualaikum Dr. Nur Nadia.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi.
Doktor nak share skrin dulu ke?
Boleh. Boleh.
Okey. Okey, saya nampak skrin dah. Doktor boleh mula lah ya.
Okey, sekejap. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning. Can everybody please give me some reactions so that I know that you can hear me clearly? Okay, thank you. So I have prepared simple slides, but it's appearing on my other monitor, so I have to adjust the setting first. Share. I'll share my other screen. Okay, and here's my slides. Alrighty, so I'm gonna start right away, and if you have if I'm going too fast, please just interject me or give me a chat. Okay, yeah, type the comment in the chat. So today's topic is eLearn at USM, setting up Gradebook. So I will share my experience in setting up the Gradebook, importing grades and exporting grades for our course files. Importing grades, that is that we are grading manually, say that we conduct a face-to-face test, and then we have our grades somewhere in the Excel spreadsheet, and we want to import the grades into the eLearn. Okay, and then number one is setting up everything so that the students can see their current grade. Okay, so we'll start by setting up Gradebook. So I want to show first, usually it's like that. I want to show the end result. This semester I'm not teaching, so I'm sharing with you my last semester Gradebook. So a way to access the Gradebook is by expanding the left side here, the left side pane of our eLearn. And then we have here course content. We have to scroll down to here, course navigation. Click there. So we have three options, right? Participants, grades, and calendar. So here, this is the place, grades. Okay, so this is my Gradebook for last semester. So we have assignment, we have test, We have assignment 2 with 3 different projects under assignment 2. And then I have also some extra credit given to the assignment 2. And then we have test 2. So this is the setup window. Sorry, this is the view window. Okay, so this is just an overview. If you don't get this, that's okay. We will go through one by one. I just want to show you the end first so that when we are learning, we know where we are going. Okay, we know our destination. So this is the view of the setup. And then if we move right of the view, click setup. So that's the setup. Usually I would create, we would have many grade items here. And some of the grade items we don't want to include in the calculation of the coursework grade. So what I do is I usually create one category for coursework, and I group everything that we are going to the summative, right? Summative assessments. I will put them in here so that the student can see their total of the coursework. Okay, so this is the setup. Looks messy, but we'll go through one by one. And we can also set the weights of the assignment according to the BPK. So my course here, MAA 101, is 60% of the overall. So I adjust the weight accordingly. And then, yep, that's under setup. And then let's go to view, and then go all the way to the end, to the right, user report. So here we can see what the students see the report as. Okay, so for example, I can choose all users, but I can also choose just one student. We want to view the report as a user. We can also view the report as ourselves. Then we can see all the hidden items and everything. But usually when we are going back and forth between the setting up and share, we want to view the report as the students. Okay, so this is what the students can see. Students can see here, well, if you want to make it cleaner, you can hide this too so that they don't see that. They just see the coursework, their assignments, the test, the weight, the grade, the range, the total mark. Total mark is 160, and then the percentage and the letter grade for each grade item. So you can choose which one you want to display and which one you don't want to display for the students. And then they can see here, this is the important part, they can see the coursework total and their letter grade, say B minus. Okay, so whenever we have the assignment, for example, the first assessment would be assignment 1. We won't have the other assessments yet. So they would say, okay, the current progress is A minus. And then moving on to test 1. So they have here D. And then the total, we can display them the current total. So what is their current progress at that time? So for some of them, not all, for some of them, it gives some motivation of them to improve their marks. Okay, and this is easy too, right? Rather than pasting the grade outside of our room and asking them to come or share in the WhatsApp group. This is more confidential. Okay, so let's see how can we do this. So since this is already set up, I'm going to go to my here, my assessment portal. So the platform is the same. The setting up is the same, only that here I only have one grade item, that is test 2 testing and test 2. So that is easier for me to set up here rather than from the eLearn portal. Okay, so let's go to course navigation. Great. So since I've created a quiz, 2 quizzes actually, test 2 testing and test 2. So that would automatically appear in the grades. And then if we, for me, because when I create the quiz, I can directly grade the tests in this platform. The marks will also be automatically displayed for the student using the default setting. So the student can see, oh, test 2 here, she got 64 over 100. But when we hide the test, the quiz or the assignment, then they won't be able to see until we unhide the assessment. Okay, so back to my slides. So the location is the left side panel, course navigation grades. Okay, so there are 2 options in setting up the gradebook. Option number 1 is we keep adjusting throughout the semester. So I'm gonna do this under the category coursework 1. And then option number 2, we predefine the categories. We put all the baskets with the appropriate weights in the beginning of the semester. So throughout the semester, we just filling in the baskets. So that's I'm gonna do with coursework number 2 later on. So from 2017, I've been doing option number 2. I did approach number 2. Then for the past, I think four semesters, I didn't do number 2. I did the first one because I think it looks messy for the second options, and we unnecessarily increase the complexity. I'm not sure, but this is all preferences. Okay, so personal preference. So I'm gonna use an example of coursework of 60% with assignments giving 30%, giving half, and tests giving another half. And then the percentage is as so. So you can also add, because here we have 2 categories, right? Assignments and tests. And after this, you can increase the complexity also if you have quiz and if you have like the presentation and anything. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. So let's cover this part first. How do we add and organize the assessments? Okay, so let me go back here. Okay, so go to grades and then setup. Beside the view, setup. For option number 1, we are adjusting throughout the semester, meaning that we change the setting according to the assessment that we post for the students. So I'm going to go to the page, the main page that our student can see. So we have, say here, week 1, week 2, and so on. So let me turn the editing on. For example, we have assignment 1. Maybe I would put here under here. In 1 week, I'm going to add 1 assignment, for example. Add activities. So we can add from here assignment or quiz or any, I think attendance can also be counted as a mark if we set them so. So forum, we can also extract some marks from forum. But because here I'm using the assessment portal, it only has assignment and quiz. example, I want to add assignment. Say assignment 1 for, this is for option number 1, coursework 1. So usually we will add the instructions and the files and set the submission date and then submission type and everything. So I'm just going to go to grade here. So the maximum grade doesn't have to be 100, doesn't have to be to match the one in our BPK. It can be any number between 0 and 100. I have tried bigger than 100, but eLearn cannot calculate that. So the maximum would be 100. So this is easy. For example, if we have assignment 1, 10%, we don't have to make our total to be 10 or 100. We can say any number like 67, the maximum grade. And then we can adjust the weight later. Okay, and then we can choose the grading method, whether it's the marking guide, rubric, or simple direct grading, and then and so on. Okay, and save and return to course. So we have our assignment 1. Let's go back to the grades. Let's refresh this. So automatically, the grade item will appear here. Okay, so that's one way of creating the grade item. Another way of creating grade item is here. Scroll down. We have add grade item down here. So this is good if we want to post online assignment. Student also has to submit here. Submit using PDF or video or anything. We want them to submit through eLearn. So this is good. But this is good for the one that we handle physically. Like we hand the paper assignment to them, and maybe they go back home and complete the tasks, and then they submit the paper assignment. Okay, so that's can be done this way. So click add grade item, and then we can see assignment 1 also, but here this is for coursework 2. Yeah, the option number 2. Okay, so grade type value. Of course, we want to use value, not the other. I haven't tried the scale and text before. And same deal. The maximum grade, it can either be 100. The maximum is 100, but it can be any number between 0 and 100. So maybe I'm using the same number, 57. If you don't want the student to see yet this grade item, you can check the hidden option. Then once you have put all the marks and everything, you can uncheck this here. But I'm not going to do that. Yes, save changes. Continue. There we go. We have another grade item to put all the marks in. Let's take a look at the students, how the students can see this. Okay. I'm going to do the other test, the other tab, then go to grades. User report, the last option under view. Okay, you have to make sure that this is view and then user report, and choose one student. So yep, they can see, except for the test 2 testing, because I have hidden the test 2 parenthesis testing. Okay, going back. So if we want to adjust through the semester, here, I'm going to add category there. Category. This is like we want to group the grade items together. So I'm going to do CW1. This is for those who want to adjust the grade throughout the semester. Aggregation, usually we use the weight, the natural. Natural is the sum of all grade values scaled by weight, meaning that we have 10% of assignment 1, 20% of assignment 2. We have, for each assessment, we have different weights. So then we can choose the natural. But there are other means of calculating the total too, like here, the lowest grade, the mean of grades. So sometimes if in your BPK you have to give students two quizzes. Maybe you want to give out 10 quizzes and then choose the highest two. So you can have this option, right? The highest grade. I'm not really sure whether we can choose the highest two or just the highest one. Yeah, but yeah, there are many more options of calculating the sum. Okay, so going to natural, the one that we have. And then usually I would leave this empty. If I need to specify this, and I would come back and do that. If not, then I would just leave them blank. Grade display type, so I'm just leaving all as default. Okay, and save changes. Continue. So that's my category, coursework 1. I'm going to do the same for coursework 2. CW2. Sure. Leave everything as is. Okay, there we go. We have CW1, CW2 with the total. So I'm going to put the assignment 1 because this is for those who want to adjust throughout the semester. I'm going to put this into CW1. So we're going to use the arrow icon here. Click this. The vertical two-sided arrow. So we want to move assignment 1 here. eLearn has labeled it to move. So where do we want to move it? We want to move it under CW1 here. Move here. Continue. Under CW2, I'm going to move assignment 1 CW2. Under CW2. Okay, so depending on your preference, you would just have one, okay? Either the first one or the second one. So maybe you can just label as coursework. So for the first one, usually I will add as I'm adding the assessments. But for coursework 2, we predefine the categories. Okay, so we have assignments, 30 marks, 30%, and we have tests, 30%. So we want to do separate categories for assignments and tests. And if you have quiz and everything, you separate them into another folder under CW2. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to add the category. Since I just have 2, I'm just going to put assignments. This is also using natural. So we can specify right away where we want to put this folder. So I want to put this folder under parent category here under CW2. Okay, we can specify right away. Or if we forgot to specify, we can do the arrow thingy. We click the arrow and we move the category inside CW2. Save changes. Okay, so we have CW2 assignments, one category, and we want to add another category, tests. Yes, natural. And then the parent category is CW2. So changes. Okay. So I made a mistake. Usually we have to, well, for CW2, we have to define the place first, the basket first, the assignments, the test first, and then we add at the beginning of semester before we put any grade item. So maybe I'll do it this again. I'll delete this, assignment 1 CW2. So I have CW2. We only have the places, the baskets, assignments, the folders, assignments, tests, the place where we want to put our assessments. So for those who are very organized, I think you would prefer CW2. Okay, and let's go adjusting the weights for CW2. Okay, for CW1, the option number 1, we are adjusting the weights as we go by, as we move along the semester. Well, for CW2, we at the beginning, we just adjust the weight. So how do we do that? Check this two, assignments and tests. So the weights are 30% altogether. Oh, sorry, 60% altogether. Assignments are 30%. Tests are 30%. So 50-50. So you can convert that to percentage and do 50-50. But you don't have to do that actually. You can just use the same number. So this is 30% out of the 60% coursework, and this is 30% out of the 60% coursework. And then when you save changes, eLearn will automatically convert that to the 100% scale. Okay? We are using the 60 scale. eLearn will convert to 50-50. This is really nice because, for example, under assignments, if you have like 3 assignments, assignment 1, you have 10%, you have different percentage. The total of the assignment, you can, without calculating much, I mean, can just, for each assignment, you can give as many total mark as you want. For example, there's 67, any number between 0 and 100. And then you, on top of that, adjust the weight. So, eLearn will automatically calibrate, is that the word? Will just transfer that, the scale of, like here, over 67 to the weight of our course. Okay, so when this happens, and when we want to create assignment 1, so here we have assignment 1 under the option number 1. We want to create assignment 1, right away we can park assignment 1 under this folder. Okay, so add grade item, assign 1 CW2. So I'm going to go with 67, the total marks of 67. And the parent category can be assignments. We can automatically choose the parent category to park the assignment 1 and save changes. There we go. We have that. So yeah. Since assignment 1 is the only assignment under assignments, so the weight is automatically just 100%, meaning that, yeah, meaning that when we add the assignment, then we are able to adjust the weight. Okay, in my case, assignment 1 is 10%, assignment 2 is 20%. So I don't want to do that first because I want to update the marks with you and go back and forth between when we update the marks and we see what the students see. Okay, as of now, let's go and see the report that the student would see. Refresh this. So for option number 1, if we don't post any assessment, they won't see anything yet. They would just see CW1. And then when we post assignment 1, they will see assignment 1. If we don't hide the assignment, if we hide the assessment, then they won't be able to see until we unhide the assessment. There is another option to for them to see the hidden assessment, but without the marks, just the grade item. So this is for option number 1. This is for option number 2. So they would see, okay, I have assignments, I have tests in this class. And then when we post assignment 1, they can see their assignment 1 inside here. So yeah, in my early years in the USM, I prefer this. The student see this. But in my later years, I prefer the student to see this option. Because I don't see any added value of students seeing the performance of their assignments and tests individually like this. Like we can see the assignments total here. Yeah. Okay, moving back to the setup. So we'll be adding the grade items as we go along. But now I'm going to cover how do we want to. So now we have covered adding grade items, adding categories, organizing the grade items according to the categories, changing the position, adjusting the weights. Okay, moving on, we want to know how to fill in the grades. Okay, so as of now, the students, they don't have the grades yet because we haven't graded the assignment yet. So for the first one, assignment 1, CW1, because we set this up from the eLearn at USM activity, so we can click right away from here. I'm gonna open in another tab because that's gonna be easy for me to move back and forth. You can click right from assignment 1, CW1. We're moving on to the online submission platform provided by eLearn. Okay, from here, depending on the setting that we use, whether we can grade right away, give the simple marks, or we use our rubric, or we use our marking guide. So that depends on the setting that we use. Okay, so if we want to grade, we can grade right away, putting all the marks here. Take a look at the work of the students one by one and grading them. So I have covered this in the past eLearn workshop. So I have added the link to the recording of the webinar. There, eLearn at USM, grading assignments and quizzes. Okay, so you can check that out if you are not sure what to do with this, and you are interested in posting assignments and tests online to your students. Okay, so one way is by filling out the grades here. Another way is from the grades. Okay, I'm not there's also a fast way from the activity, but I have covered that in the webinar, the past webinar. So now we are just focusing on the gradebook. How can we update the marks from here, from grades? You can go to the top ribbon, view setup, view, and then go down to single view. Click that. And then we select the grade item that we want to put the marks in. So I'm going to put the assignment 1, CW1 here. We can just put the grade right away here, but we have to check override all. And then we can manually put the grade, say here, 50 and 38. While we are marking, we are updating right away here. So that's one way of doing that. So if you have 10 students, that might be possible to do it like this. And going back and forth between checking the PDF or the submission and kicking in the marks. Okay, so once all have been completed, or maybe today you just want to cover students' name that starts with letter A, maybe. And then once you're finished, click save, and then another day you can continue grading. So here we have the save button here. Click save. So we have assignment 1. Okay, since I just put for Abdul Shafi and Adlina, so that's the grade. So I'm going to do the same with assignment 1, CW2. Then because we want to compare how the students can see once we update the marks. Oh, I can't remember. My memory is 50, 38. 50, 38. See? Okay. Here we go. We have the grade updated. We have one question from Taswat. Down here, we have the bulk insert, the perform bulk insert. So if we are grading from the assignment activity under eLearn, so sometimes or the quiz, sometimes we don't have to insert the mark for those who haven't submitted, who didn't submit the assignments or the tests or the quiz. So the grade here will be empty. Okay, so what we do is we perform bulk insert for those cases if we know that the students didn't come to the test or didn't submit the assignments. So for empty grades, we want to insert 0, for example. Or you can also customize like for all grades if you want. Like in my case, I did extra credit portion where I give bulk extra credit for all my students, 1.5, I think. Oh, sorry. Yeah, 1 point something. So for all grades, I'll just insert everybody got the extra mark of 1.5. Okay, so let's try. We have filled out the first two, but we want to say the other, we just want to give the 30 marks for the other. So empty grades, insert 30. Save. Continue. Everybody else, apart from the one that we have put individually, obtain the marks 30. So my practice is I would grade from the assignment itself if the assignment is posted online. If the assignment is not posted online, then I would update the marks in an Excel file. Here, the second one. The second one is filling in. Number one, we can use the tools to grade the grade item. Number two, we fill in manually as we have done before, just now. Grade, view, single item, select grade item, and insert the marks. And the third one is, this is my preferred one if I don't have number one. So this is my go-to. I would import the grades from Microsoft Excel. So this would be covered in the next section. Why? Because assignments, sometimes we don't have just one question, right? We have like 5 questions. If you wanna put the marks direct like this, like number 2, 37, then we have to do the calculation somewhere else. But if we do in the spreadsheet, in Excel, we can just separate the marks, question 1, question 2, question 3, and then we can total up the marks, and then we import just the final marks into the eLearn. Okay, because my calculation for the grade usually is as complex as calculating the coursework, meaning that question 1, the total mark is 15, but the weight is 10, like that. So yeah, if your grade item can be totaled up easily, then number 2 is good. Just a second, I have one question, I think, on my private chat. I think I received one notification that I have one other question, but I don't see the question in the public or private chat. Maybe you can repost a question if I don't answer your question yet. Okay, so let's see how the students can see as of now, because we have filled in the assignment 1 part. Let's choose Abdul Shafi. Okay, Abdul Shafi, if you use option number 1, he just can see the total of his assignment 1. He said, oh, okay, I got 75%, not bad. But for coursework 2, he got 75%, but the total of coursework, okay, so I'm gonna have to adjust this in the other setup. But he would see the percentage here and the total here according to the weights. of the total and the total assignments here. But I have to do some adjustment. We have to do some adjustments. Okay, let's do the adjustment. Scroll up to the setup. Okay, I'm going to the setup. Click setup. So we have done with Gradebook setup. Let's move to the one beside it. Course grade settings. Click that. General settings. So you can read the explanation here. So aggregation position, I think, do you want the total to be written at the end of the folder or last? So this at the bottom of the group. Minimum and max grade. So usually I will just leave this as default. Grade item settings. Grade display type. Usually I would leave this as default, but you have other option. You can have the marks, the real is the marks, the mark over 57, and then you have parenthesis percentage, or the marks and then parenthesis the letter A, B, C, A plus, A minus, B plus, things like that. And then yep, all the style. But okay, we'll see. You can choose whichever you like. Okay, so we'll stay with the default. This is for the grade item settings. So that means students can see here, Abdul Shafi here, you can see the grade. This is the grade. You can see sorry, this is for test, for assignment. You can see the marks. I thought it is 57. Why it is 50 now? So I just want to check real quick for Abdul Shafi. Go back to the grades and then single view. Is it 50? Oh, my memory. Oh, 50, okay. 50 and 38, 57, okay, yeah. 50 and 38, yeah, that's right. So go to user report, and then let's choose the second student, Adelina. Adelina gets 38, yeah, here, 38 over 67, 38 over 67. So the grade will display like this. If we change, say we want real and percentage, and then save. Then under the column, the grade column, if we refresh this, they would see the real mark over the, the real mark, 38 over 67, and then parenthesis, the percentage. Okay, so if you have like this, you don't have to put a column for percentage anymore. So my preference is I would like to store them in columns. Grade, just the real grade, and then we have the percentage in another column, and then we have the letter grade in another column. So that's my style. Some people, they like it like this. Okay, whatever you like. I'm going back to the setup. And then in course grade settings. And then default. Okay, so this is for the grade. Overview. Overview is here. Go back here, up here. Under view, we have here overview report. Okay, so the setup, of overview. The default is you want eLearn will hide the rank, meaning the position, the number of the student compared to their friends. And then hide totals if they contain hidden items. Okay, the default is hide. So that's why we can't see the total before, because some items are hidden. Okay, so this is my practice. Usually I would show totals excluding hidden items. So whenever I hide some grade items, the students can still see the totals as the current totals. So they don't have to wait until the hidden items have been graded to know their totals. Hopefully to give them some motivation to study. Rank. My second year working in USM, I would show the rank, but this is for the overview report. Overview report is for us. Okay, so rank, my second year, I would show to me and to the students. But lately, like the last few years, I would hide this because I think this can be a source of stress for the students to know their position. So I would hide it. But let's see if we if you change it to show. Okay, I'm gonna save this. Save changes. Go to the other tab. You can just go here too. So go to overview report. Okay, overview report. This is for us. So we can select one student, the first student, Abdul Shafi. We can see that, okay, now the total grade is 58 and he is the fourth of the class. Okay, moving back to the setup. Course grade settings. And the last part is the important part, the user report part, because this is the place where the students can see. So here, if you want to show rank, you can click show. So let's just show all of them. And then from there, we remove what we don't want, okay? I'll just show percentage and everything, show average, show letter grades, range. If you want to be precise, you want to say like 3 decimal places, you can do that. Show hidden items. Okay, so maybe you don't have to show. There are some options. You don't show the hidden items, or the first one, we show the hidden item without the marks, and then the total will still be calculated. Okay. Usually I don't, I want the report to be clean, so I choose to not show. Let's see if we have this. And hide totals, the default is hide, but because I want them to see the current total, usually I would do this. Show totals excluding the hidden items. Save changes. Okay, so let's go to the user report. Let's choose the first student, Abdul Shafi. Okay, so we have all the columns. So now we can choose which one that we want to let our students see. Okay, so usually I would do grade, the real marks. I would choose range because the student would see the real marks over the total marks. So here, 50 over 67. Percentage, I would also show because the total, the students can see, like here C, which level of C are they in? Either whether if they just add 1 more percent, they could increase their grade to C plus, okay? Things like that. So I would show the percentage and the letter grade, of course. So I would not, I would hide the rank and the average. because I think this is a source of stress for them. But if you think that's a source of motivation, then yeah, go ahead. And I would also hide the feedback because I think this would be too messy. We have the test and the feedbacks all together in the report. And then the contribution, also, sometimes I display this, sometimes I don't. Okay, so depending on your design, you can choose whichever you want. And once you have chosen the ones that you want, you can hide the things that you don't want them to see. So for me, I'm hiding post grade settings. I'm hiding the rank. I'm sorry, this is overview report. I think this is for us. I'm not sure whether students can see this. If this is for us, then yeah, no harm of showing that to us. Here, show rank. I'm gonna have default height, percentage, grades. That's the real the mark. Feedback. I don't want to show the feedbacks. The weights. Yep. If you're dealing with math students, then maybe you have to add this because they are always interested to know. Average. I want to hide this. Letter grade. Show. Contribution. Let's just stick to the default. Ranges. Yeah, if you think that you don't want to show the range, then that's fine too. You can hide. Yep, that's it. Save changes. Okay, let's see the report again for the second student, Adelina. Okay, so they would be seeing this. Okay, so for the first option, CW1, the current grade is F. For the second option, where we have all the baskets, the current grade is also F. Take a look at here, CW total, the current grade is F. Why? This is only 56%, but already F. Because, go back to the setting. We have another tab here, letters. Okay, we have setup, skills, letters. So under setup, usually I would just adjust this. I would not adjust the preferences. You can explore this. And skills, I've never worked with skills. Don't have a clue of how to do this. But under letters, so that's why the students get F, because we have to score more than 60% to be able to get not F, to be able to not get F. Okay, so since we have, I think every school has their own cut point score, so we can edit using our own cut point score. So we have to click edit and then check the override side defaults. Okay, so I'm gonna display my slides first. So I'll be sharing the slides. So how to adjust the cut point score? You click edit and then make sure to check the override side defaults. And then this is what our school use in School of Mathematical Sciences. We have A until F, and this is the range. Okay, so eLearn at USM handles up to 5 digits, 5 decimals. Sorry, not 5 digits, 5 decimals, 5 decimal points. So the range is 80, meaning that students who get 80 plus will be given A. But if you put 80 in the eLearn, if the student score 79.9, the student will get A minus. Okay, so if we want to round up the number, we can use this, because from 79.5, you can round up to 80, right? So since we have 5 decimals, so this is the number, 29.4449, and down here. But sometimes I would just kick in the number here, 80, 70, 64, but I would check again my students' percentage. If I see that the difference between their score and 80 is so little, I would add marks in their assessments to make them increase from, say, A minus to A. Okay, so up to you, but let's use this. So let's adjust the letter first. We have A minus, B plus, B minus, C plus, C minus, D plus, D minus, and then F. So F is greater than 0. D minus is 25. So you can put 25, or you can put 24.44449. Okay, if you put this, then eLearn will automatically round up the marks, the total percentage for you. Control C. I'm just pasting here because I don't want to write the 44449 again. So D is 27, 28, 27.449. D plus is 31. C minus 35. C 39. C plus is 45. And so on. Okay, so after this, we will have a short break. A minus is 69. And mighty A is 79. Okay, I hope everything is correct. And then we have to save changes. Okay, there we go. This. Go back to the student. The letter grade F. Let's see the updated ones. So, yeah, we have D minus, A minus. There's a vast difference, huh? From the default cut point score from F to E minus. Other one right from F. Yeah. Okay. So if you back up your eLearn page, for example, you're teaching, I'm teaching MAA 101. Then at the end of the semester, I download the backup file. And at the beginning of next semester, I just activate the backup file for my new eLearn page. Then you don't have to do all this setting. It will be done for you from the backup file. But if you're starting from scratch, your eLearn page for your course, then every time you have to adjust this, to do the setup, change the letters and everything. Okay, so I highly recommend you to back up every semester. At the end of semester, perform backup for your course and also the question bank. Okay, so we'll have a 10-minute break, and I'll see you again at 10:43 a.m. Inshallah. Thank you. Alrighty, welcome back. So can I see some reactions? Thank you. Okay, moving on. So we have set up the letter grades. So this is done. We are done with the first section of today's webinar, that is setting up the gradebook. Okay, so let's move on to the second topic, that is importing grades. So we have the grade somewhere in our spreadsheet, and we want to import the grade into the eLearn without having to key in the marks one by one eLearn. Okay. So there are three options from the from eLearn at USM. We can import an CSV file. We can paste from the spreadsheet, Microsoft Excel, or any other spreadsheet. And number three, we can also import an XML file. But I've never worked with CSV and XML. I'm good with just number two, okay? Paste from spreadsheet. So again, if you are interested to explore and maybe conduct another webinar on how to do that, please do so. Okay, so we paste from spreadsheet. But the problem with pasting from spreadsheet is that sometimes we get the names of our students from CLA or from the list of participants from our eLearn, and then we have duplicates. The names are the same exact names. So what I do is usually I would use the email address of the students as the unique ID to identify that if this match, if the email from the spreadsheet match with the one in the eLearn, then please take the mark and put it there. Okay, so how do I do that? I'll show that. I'll show how to export an Excel file, spreadsheet. Okay, typing error. And then, okay, so let's cover all this. I'll be sharing the slides with you later with the typing error corrected. Okay, so here under, okay, if we start from beginning, we go to grades. And then on the top ribbon, you have view, setup, skills, letters, import. Before importing, we have to export the email address and the names. So you can also export from the participants, but since we are here from the grades, why not we just export from here? Okay, so we choose Excel spreadsheet. Okay, say you can import all this, but I just want to focus on importing the marks for assignment 1. And then we can add a column later for assignment 2, for test 1, for test 2. Okay, so to make things easy. Export format function. It depends on you whether you want to include the feedback. Well, this is not relevant, but this, if you want to include the suspended users or not. And I want to stick with just real marks, because we want to use eLearn to convert the marks to percentage and letter. Okay, and decimal places according to your preferences, and then download. So we have the downloaded spreadsheet there. I'm gonna open from my downloads here. Okay. This to other screen. Let me move the Excel file to the chat screen. Okay, so this is what is exported. So sometimes you would have this protected view message and everything. You can just click the enable editing. Okay, I want to expand all the columns. So we have the first name, We have the ID number. Yeah, I haven't used the ID number. I think you can use the ID number too. This is the IC number, right? IC number or passport number. And email address. And then we have a column for assignment 1. Okay, so my practice is I won't edit right away. So I will label this this as raw. And then I would copy everything, Control A, Control C, and I would paste in another sheet. And then I would do my thing on this. So I have the raw version and I have my version, the edited version. Because sometimes if something happens here and we need the raw version, if we don't do that, then we have to export again. Expand everything. So surname, last name, we don't need that. Delete. ID number, because I'm going to use email address. So I'm going to stick with just email address. And maybe just assignment 1, CW1. Okay, and I'm going to delete the last column. Okay, so this is the mark that we have entered before manually using eLearn. And now we can do our thing with marking, right? Wherever, whether on paper or the PDF or anything. We can also add the column for question 1, question 2, question 3, and we have the total at the end. Okay, whatever works with your assignment or your test. Okay, I'm going to go back to here, to the grade view. So the total mark for assignment 1 is 67. So the total mark here would be anywhere from 0 to 67. So I'm just going to use random number. Random, if we put like that, we would get random from 0 to 1, right? So I'm just going to multiply with 67. So do our thing until we get the total marks. Okay, so we want to import this into the eLearn. Go back to eLearn. First step, import. Okay. Choose the paste from spreadsheet option. We have the data here. So we have to copy all our data and paste here. So yeah, this would be tricky if you have many students. I would just copy the email address and the marks. I won't even copy the first name. Okay. Let's try copying. I have tried before. If we start from the top, the email address and A1, sometimes it won't work. So you have to try Control C. Control V. Okay, leave everything as is and upload grades. So we have the email, we have the marks. So this is the data that can be captured from the one that we pasted before. So now we have to map. Okay, we map the email address from the spreadsheet to the one in eLearn, also email address, from email address to email address. So if you're mapping, if you're copying the ID, then maybe from user ID to user, not sure, ID number, I think, ID number to ID number. Here, email address to email address. So we want to map A1CW1 to, we don't want to fetch the email address because we already have in the information in eLearn. We just want to fetch the marks for assignment 1. So we fetch that to assignment 1, CW1. Assignment 1, CW1. The marks from Excel to the marks from eLearn, the marks in eLearn. Click upload grades. Depending on the number of students that you have, it will take some time. Okay, success. Sometimes if it's not successful, then you copy from not from the first name and email address here. Sorry, not the title, is it? Here, the email address and anyway, copy from the second row. Okay, since it worked, alhamdulillah, so I'll just click continue. And yep, let's check. Let's check single view. Let's go to single view and select assignment 1, CW1. And usually I'll just sample some student. Find Alia here, Alia Najiha, 4151. I will go to the Excel file, Alia Najiha, and 4151. Okay, so I'll check maybe 5 to 10 of them. And if those are good, then I assume everything is mapped correctly. Okay. And since I have two styles, right? So CW1 and CW2, let me do real quick for CW2. Control V, upload grades. And then I want to map from email address to email address. And then A1, CW1 to the CW2, assignment 1, CW2. Upload grades. Yeah, not so bad, right? Okay, and I'm going to see the single view for assignment 1, CW2. So Amir is 11.15. Amir, yeah. Yes, that works. So let's see the user report now. So we can also generate the report for all. Okay, if we don't want to see one by one, we can generate for all users, but it's going to take a long time. I'm just going to stick with choosing just one student and see. Okay, for assignment 1 or assignment 1F. Okay, so now let's update. We have assignment 1, and then maybe throughout the semester, we have test 1. Test 1. So I'm going to go to setup. So for option number 1, CW1. So I'm going to add test 1 here. So again, we can add test 1 as a quiz. Okay, let me do that. We go to our page, and then we have assignment 1, we add a quiz, test 1. Maybe, well, let's see, quiz, if we can override the marks, quiz. Test 1. And test 1 in my class is 10%. Sorry, 20%. That's the total marks. Save and display. So this is a quiz, but no questions have been added. We have to add questions, multiple choice question, essay questions, and so on. But let me see whether we can just, for the sake of example, we can just add right away the marks. Let's go to grades. Test 1 is here. Oh, I forgot test 1, CW1 or CW2. Okay, so we have to go to setup and put test 1 under CW1. Okay, we put this under CW1 after assignment 1. Again, the arrangement is up to you. If you want to put tests before assignments, or so we have assignment 1 and test 1. Okay, so test 1 under CW1, and I'm gonna create another test 1 to be put under here, under test. That's gonna be add grade item. So different ways of adding grade item. Test 1, CW2. So maximum grade, let's say one. Let's say I'm just gonna do random number, huh? Like 60 over 60. So grade category will be under tests. Save changes. Continue. Okay, so test 1 is parked under here. CW2, and this is test 1. Okay, how to adjust the weight? So here we know test is 50% of the coursework, and only one item is parked under test. So automatically eLearn will calculate as 100%. But for the first option, usually what I would do is I would check both and I would re-enter the weight. Okay, so assignment 1 is got already. Assignment 1 is 10%. We'll just put 10. And then test 1 is 20%. So eLearn will recalculate this to percentage from over 30 to over 100. Save changes. Okay, those are the weights. So I'm gonna fill in some random number also for test 1 from the spreadsheet. I'll just I think when we make change, automatically the number will change also. Test 1. Okay, yeah. So we'll have another. Oh, but the total marks is 60. So we have to times 60. So we can add another column also, but whenever we make change, the number will also change, right? So the number doesn't match with our data, our previous data before. So might as well, we don't retain the previous marks. So that's going to be random times 60. Drag this down. I'm going to copy again. So you just have to export the spreadsheet once, right? To extract the email address. Copy and import the marks into eLearn. Import. Paste from spreadsheet. Control V. Upload grades. Same steps. Oh, here, see, we have 22.1. Maybe I didn't copy until the first. Oh yeah, I didn't copy it from the first row. So I have to recopy from the first row, email address test one, down to the last student. Then redo the import steps for test one. Let's see whether I can upload grades automatically into quiz, even though we haven't added the questions yet. So usually quiz, if we do multiple choice questions and everything, we will get the grades automatically. Yep, we can do that too. We can override the marks. So here we have test one already filled in, I think, under CW1. I don't even want to, oh, because it's from, okay, so somewhere I have the range is from 0 to 10, hence the marks is adjusted from 0 to 60 to 0 to 10. I have to change this, but yep, never mind. We'll maintain as is. I'm just gonna go with importing the other one. Importing under CW2, just for you to see the difference. Great. S1 under CW2. Continue. So we have different marks for test one for CW1 and CW2. Let's see whether we can change that. Go back to user report. Student. So here we have under CW1, option number 1, test 1 and assignment 1, both she has an F, so the total is F. The total is based on the weights that we have entered before. 10% for assignment 1, 20% for test 1. Here, we also have F, but this is calculated differently. So calculated according to the folders. Okay, so 50% from assignments, 50% from tests. So since the numbers are different, let me try to change this real quick, whether I can change the setting. Edit quiz. And then the maximum grade, let's see, 60. Save. Okay, so let's go back to grades. So many clicks, that we have to do. So here, test 1 is, oh, sorry, let me see the user report and choose one student. Okay, test 1 is 66.67%. Test 1 here is 100%. What is the real mark? 0.87. over 60. Wow. This is also 0.87. Okay, yeah, correct. 0.87 over 60. This is a random number, huh? 0.87 over 60. And the percentage is different. The total here is 6.45%. The total here is 4.78%. So I think the more accurate representation of the total marks is going to be the second one, because it's divided under the basket, right? Assignment 50%, test 50%. But yep, this is a good approximation also for the final grade. So at least until, say, test 1, the students can see already, oh, as of now, I am D minus, or here C plus. Okay, whichever you want, D minus, C plus. So yeah. Okay, so I have test 2 because in my platform here, I have the marks for test 2. So I'm going to move this into CW1, setup, test 2. I'm going to move it to under CW1, below test 2. Okay, and then we have to adjust the weights. Right? We have to adjust here. So I'm going to check this. So assignment 1 is 10%. Test 1 is 20%. Test 2 is 10%. Okay, and save. So again, eLearn will recalculate. So test 2, the marks I got from the quiz, from marking the quiz. Yep, so let's see how the students fare. View. Just several of them to see. Okay, so far, the coursework is D minus. Okay, and we have one more to add, assignment 2. Also, this test 2 can also be added here, but I don't think we can. I'm not sure how to duplicate. Maybe I have to export this and then import again, test 2 here. If you want me to do that, please say so in the chat. If not, then I'm assuming that everyone is good with importing the marks or setting up the marks. I just want to show my test 2 for those who are not familiar with quiz. So for test 2, test 2 here. Let's see the attempts. So I would grade right away on here. For example, we review for this student, Tan. So I have 8 questions for test 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Question 1 is an essay question. So the student can take picture and paste in the answer box. And then I put the marking scheme as a feedback, but I don't display that to the students when they're taking the test. But this feedback will be visible to the grader for our tutor, so that when they're marking, they can look at when they're grading, they can look at the question and the marking scheme simultaneously and give marks, give comments, and insert the marks in the box. Okay, so I covered this in my past webinar. Question 2 is also an essay question. Question 3 is essay, mathematics question. Question 4, and then we have question 5, essay. Question 6, I have the true, false question. Yes, no. So this will be automatically graded. Question 7 is also, multiple choice questions. Question 8 is another multiple choice question. So we can save time, actually, maybe set up like 3 objective questions for eLearn to automatically grade, and then just focus on a part of the test to grade manually. And then the marks will be updated automatically in grades. Okay, so that's for importing grades into your eLearn. Question? Okay, since we have 15 more minutes, I'm not gonna finish setting up the grades. I'm just gonna show the one that I did for my last semester course. So this is my assessment portal. I'm gonna go back to my eLearn portal. Okay, so I'm going to grades. Okay, let's see user report, one of them. So we have this classes. This is WebEx option plugin in the eLearn, and this is homework submission. Because I share this with with other lecturers, so she created this. So this would appear in the user report. But if we don't want this to appear, we can hide this. Okay, we can hide it this in the page. It won't appear here. But then if we hide, then the student can't click the classes. You can't click here, so I leave it be. I just create one category, coursework. Under that coursework, we have all the assignments and the tests, assignment 2 and test 2. Assignment 1 and assignment and test 1, we imported the marks because this is from my friends. So she graded assignment 1 and test 1 manually, and she had the marks in the Excel file. So we imported the marks into here. And for assignment 2 and test 2, I conducted all of them online. But test 2, I conducted in the assessment portal because I want to use the Proctor, Moodle Proctor. So I have to export the test 2 marks from assessment portal and import the marks here. Okay, so every time I would go to setup to adjust the weights. So assignment 1, I would put 10 here, and test, assignment 1, 10, test 20, assignment 2, 20, test 2, 10. And then under assignment 2, because I have 3 projects, I have to again enter the weights of the marks. But since the mark is the same, the total mark is the same with the weight, so I just enter 776, and eLearn automatically change to percentage. Okay, so I have extra credit for assignment 2 because assignment 2 is a research project. So I have pre-survey and post-survey. So I told them that if all of them would complete the pre and post, everybody will get a 2% extra credit. But so not all of them. Let's see, extra credit. So I take the total of student participations over the total number of students times 2. So that is the mark of the extra credit. I'm not sure whether that complies with OBE. Pardon me if I'm not. But project 1, 2, 3 measure affective domain. So I'm thinking of participating in the survey in research for the real world problem. Also, we are also achieving the learning outcomes that we plan to assess for assignment 2. So that's why I put the extra credit here. Okay, so let's see the students. I think we have seen, right? The students view. Let's view this here. Here they can see their assignment A, test F. Assignment 2, the total of assignment 2 is B plus. Test 2 is C plus, and the total of coursework is B minus. Okay, so yeah, project 1, project 2, project 3 was set up as an assignment. So they have to submit a PDF file. So I would grade the PDF right away. For example, let's grade 1. So we have the PDF file. We can download or view the PDF. And then I have a rubric to score the project 1. And then eLearn will automatically calculate the total. So I would just have to check the criteria of their submission and whether they are okay, and give them some points and then some comments, and then eLearn will calculate the totals. Okay, done with importing grades, setting up grades. The last is exporting grades. So once we have all the grades ready, the totals are ready, we want to export all the grades for our course file. So what we do is we go back to grades. And there's one tab at the end, export, that we have done before. Usually I would export the Excel spreadsheet, not the other. Okay, so which one to export? So you can select none, and then you choose which one you want to export. For example, we want assignment 1, test 1, project 1, project 2, project 3. If we want all, if we want all, then we select all. We just remove the classes and the homework submission and the course total, because we want the category total, the CW total. Okay, export format options. You can choose whether to include feedback. So that way your feedback for each assessment will also be exported. And here I would export all, percentage and letter, because we don't want to be calculating the letter grade and doing the calculation again. Download. Open this. So that's going to be a messy file with everything. So again, the raw data I would set aside, example raw, and I would copy all and put in another sheet. Control-C, Control-V, and then, well, maybe delete whatever that we don't want to. For example, we don't want the surname, delete. Matrix number and email address also, usually we don't need that, right? To copy and paste to the CW spreadsheet. So delete that. Assignment 1, assignment 1, assignment 1, percentage. If you don't want percentage for assignment 1, you just want the real one, you can also delete the column. What we want is the last column. Last column is this coursework letter. This, we want to copy this and paste in the spreadsheet for the coursework. We want to submit the grade, right? The grade for coursework. So just copy this and paste. in the Excel file. And then an extra step that I do is I would copy also the name of the student, copy this and paste in another column. For example, I will copy all the name, Control C, and paste in a new column of the form that we want to submit. Say, for example, here, copy all the name. Second row. And then I would do equal to the name here, the name from this exported file equals to the name in the form of the CW spreadsheet that the office has emailed us. So sometimes the sorting is different, especially if you have the name of student with apostrophe. Sometimes the Excel sheet that our office share with us would arrange the apostrophe differently from eLearn. So I would check all through. If sometimes it's false, then we have to do the change, just to check that we have copied and pasted correctly. Okay, and then you can do post-process, meaning that some people, they don't like to have everything in bulk like this. They want one Excel file for assignment 1, one Excel file for assignment 2, right? And one Excel file for test 1, test 2. So that's all your preference. If you prefer to do that, then you can export separately. Export assignment 1 first, export assignment 2, and then export the total coursework, just the total coursework, not all the grade items here. Okay, so that's exporting. That's it under exporting grades. I'll show you my slides. Exporting grades. So I have all the notes here, so you can have the slides later. And I have extra. Number 1 is watermarks. So I'll cover this pretty quickly because we have 5 minutes left. And extra credit, the keyword is to add grade item. Add grade item under the folder. Okay, so I leave it maybe for your exploration. So let's discuss the watermarks, because we want to, so to say, minimize our measuring error. So usually I would take the total mark. I would sort first. Here, the percentage. I would take the total percentage, this part. So I would delete everything. I would just do that real quick. Let's delete everything. Oh, maybe we already have in my folder. So I'll just share my practice from my last semester's course. Okay, so I would sort the total percentage. So we have the student name and the percentage. I would convert the data into table, and I would sort from the highest to the lowest along with the grades. So I would check the border students. For example, if the difference is too little from B+ to A-, I would go to the assessment 1 by 1 to check whether I can give extra marks to them. To increase the grade from B+ to A-. If I cannot do so, then I will maintain the grade to B+. If there are something that can be done to increase the marks, then I would do that, and the grade will be increased from B+ to A-. Okay, so yeah. So going back and forth, looking at here and going back to the eLearn, changing the marks, make sure this B can be upgraded to B+, and then we have to export again. Okay, if everything is good, we have covered everything, check everything, then export again for the updated data. Okay, so that's what I usually do. Okay, so that's the end of my talk today. I will share my slides with Puan Halimatul, or I'm not sure who's the rep, CDAE rep today. Puan Halimatul, yeah. I will share with Puan Halimatul, inshallah, to be shared with all of you. So any last question? If you have any question, you can email me. I will include my email in the slides also. Anything that I can help. So yep, thank you very much. Have a fruitful remaining of Ramadan if you're a Muslim. Yes, all the best for this semester. And hope to see you again, inshallah. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.
Salam. Terima kasih Dr. Nadia. Sesi
Sama.
ini saya akan letak dalam YouTube channel CDAE. Nanti slide boleh tengok di bahagian description. Attendance link pun saya dah share dekat chat box. Mohon untuk klik sahkan kehadiran dan jangan lupa untuk isi e-survey. Terima kasih semua.